Okay. All right, G, can you hear me? Because I see your setup. Add me at any time. Okay. Well, let's wait for G to put me on here. So, welcome to another episode of Read This. Me and G are going to talk about how being in shape affects relationships. Okay. Let's see. She knows that I'm on. Let's see here. Try this. See what happens here. Waiting for G to let me in. Are we in? Can you hear me? Oh, she's playing with the graphics over there. I can't hear you. Let me make sure I got my audio on here. I think I do, but I can't hear you. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's my audio. I got no audio. How about? Hey, say something now. Okay, I can hear you. I can't hear you in my headphones. Let me see if I can do this one more time. If not, we'll just go with that. Nothing. Okay. Oh, we just got to go with the built-in speakers. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well.
You can't hear me?
I can't hear you in my headphones, but I can hear you on the computer. Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder why.
Technology, but the mic is working, so that's good. So I'm sure you hear me good. So that's good.
No?
Can you hear me?
Yes?
Yeah.
No. There you go again.
You can't hear me?
That's weird.
What's the matter?
Let's see.
What's going on?
Mic settings. No, you're good. On my end, it's good. I can't hear you on your end. So it's something you're doing.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I can hear you. I just can't hear you in my headphones.
No, because I don't want to take this off because then we'll.
No, you can leave your headphones on. I just mine aren't working. So, but I can hear you in here.
No, I really can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Put the thing back on.
No. I have no audio. I have no audio. As long as you can hear me, we can just do it like this. I have no audio.
You're not in the waiting room. You're here. You're in the studio.
I know, but I think it's because of the way that this is set up with my Rodecaster. I just think it's. You can leave the headphones on though, Gia, if you have audio.
You're in it.
I think we're talking about two different things here, Gia. I know I'm in the room and you can hear me.
On your end.
I know that it is, but what I'm trying to tell you is my headphones don't work, but I can hear you anyway through the speakers in my computer. I don't need the headphones. Is what I'm saying. Can you hear me good or no? You hear me? I can hear everything. It sounds good. It's all good.
You go off.
Huh?
Now it's nothing.
You can't hear me?
Can't hear you now.
Hold on. What is going on? Let me look at something. That's very interesting. It says I have audio. Can you hear that?
Yeah, there.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. There we go. Okay. Well, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Now you went off again. Now you went off.
Really? What's going on? That's weird. I didn't do it. On here it says this should be working.
Nothing.
Okay, well, let me do. Let's go with the computer. Can you hear me?
There. Yeah.
Let's go with the computer audio, but we'll let this pick up over here. Yeah.
Is it okay?
Is that working?
Let me try something. Yeah, I can hear you good. Let me just make sure that these videos work when I do
Whoa.
this.
You don't need fat, but you don't need to have
Can you hear the video?
Yep.
big muscles.
Okay, good. Because I'm going to be playing these videos, and we're going to be going off these videos.
Okay. Sounds fun.
So-
All right.
So let me just get you back here, and we're going to go live. I think I'm going to introduce you.
Okay.
I'm going to introduce you. So I'm going to take you off for a second, go live, and then introduce you and bring you on. Okay,
However you
so
want.
sit
However
tight.
you want to do it.
All right, sit tight. Sit
Right.
tight.
Right.
I'm not some friends, you know it's not that bad.
Here
Cigarettes, machines I don't regret.
we go.
Someone thought it best to erase me from the day. So let's put on a show. I hit my
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another live stream. Today I have a special guest for you, and we're going to be speaking about how fitness affects relationships. But before we start, let's introduce you, my brother, Aaron. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, Gia.
Aaron Reed.
Thank you for the introduction. Happy to be here.
So we are going to start doing these more regularly for the audience. And I'd love to hear your feedback. So, make sure you guys drop those questions and comments. I'm going to be getting to your questions later on down the stream. But before we do, we are going to start listening to some different reels on how fitness affects relationships. So let's start with the first one. And
Yeah,
Aaron
great.
has not heard any of these, so I'm going
I haven't seen any of these. This is going to be great.
Okay, let's go.
Like men who are in shape, or do women like men with dad bods? I'm about to tell you. Women have one night stands with guys who are in shape. Women are sexually attracted to guys who are in shape. Women like to have fun with guys who are in shape. You see, women don't usually settle down with these type of guys because they don't want to deal with the problems that come with dealing with these type of guys. What's the problems? Options. Men who take care of their bodies, men who take care of themselves, keep their look up to par, have options with women. Okay. You see, women are emotionally attached to the dad bod guy. The dad bod guy is safe. He's the safe guy. She knows where he gonna be at, on the couch eating chips, not working out. He's controllable. That's why she married him. Okay.
Oh, wow. So do you want to start with this or do you want me to start?
Okay, so there is some validity to what he's saying. There is some truth to it, right? So
Yeah.
like you'll hear a girl say, I like a dad bod, but they're doing it because several things. Some of the girls online, they're doing it to attract a certain clientele. We know where that's going. But then there's another side where they're saying that because the women who are not fit or in the gym every day don't want to be with somebody who's going to make them step up or level up, or you would be a perfect example. You have a very regimented schedule, you're very disciplined. You would find it very difficult to be with somebody who wouldn't want to go to the gym, wouldn't want to eat healthy, want to be drinking, want to have junk food in the pantry, right? Am I right?
100% fucking percent.
So what's your feedback on this one? Have you heard women say that I like dad bods, but then not?
Okay. In my opinion, there is a lot of truth to what he said. But what he's saying is the woman that has a problem with dating a guy like me is because I have options is number one, either super controlling, super insecure, you know, or that. Yeah. Because like at the end of the day, it becomes she wants to have an upper hand in the relationship. So instead of two people being the same, the idea of they both being great, you know, this type of woman he's talking about would prefer a man they feel is beneath them. So I think that yeah, like a female that is wants to date a dad bod and then have a one night stand with a guy that's in great shape, like that's all fucked up. That whole thing, that whole situation is fucked up. Like, and there is truth to that, and that is miserable because she's like thinking to herself, like either I don't know, she doesn't deserve that, or maybe he's right in the way that some guys do have options, or maybe she knows that she's like a fucking 7 or like a or like a 6.
I put women go, I purposely stay away from the good looking guy or the fit guy because he's gonna cheat on me or he's gonna, you know, I don't want to deal with that the other side of things. Like this is how, you know, a lot of women feel. They're I think everybody has a certain little bit of insecurity. Every human
Sure.
has insecurity. I don't care who they are, right? But there's degrees of it. And I think one of the main things that fitness does is it definitely helps with your confidence. Okay. It helps with your abilities, like knowing, you know, when you look in the mirror, what you like, when you see, if you're looking in the mirror and you like what you see, you're going to feel better about everything that you do. It's going to apply, it's going to transcend to everything you do. That's why I said it goes into relationships. How you look and feel is going to have to do with attraction, right? When you don't have that attraction there, you're going to start losing respect. You're going to start losing the sex. Once the sex goes down, pretty much everything goes down, right? So I think, yeah, there's a huge amount of why fitness needs to be in every single part of everything you do. You need to be healthy long term. And if you're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't have discipline and doesn't want to do what it takes to be fit, then they're going to purposely say things like, I like the dad bod, or, you know, I don't want that. I like the guy with a little bit of tubby, whatever. But really, I'm sorry, there isn't a woman alive that does not like a guy with muscles. And women do check out a man's body way more than what they let on. 100%.
Well, I will say that, you know, people in general and women will try to say, oh, that guy has too much muscle to this, that. Like, women like muscle. Like you just said it, you know, women like muscle. And it's just messed up to think that like a woman would be like, I'm going to settle with this because this is better. And even though I don't think he's great, I would rather have some guy I don't think is great than a guy I do think is great because he might not think I'm great. And it's like, you know what the problem is with nowadays is like women are so used to getting so many compliments that one insult makes them fall apart. You know?
Because women can't take L's.
No.
They can't take L's. They can't take rejection at all because they're not used to it. Like they're always, like we talk about men not liking rejection, but we don't necessarily ever touch on the fact that women really don't do well with rejection because they don't ever get, well, not many of them get rejected. They're always having guys come at them. So, and any amount of, hey, you need to get better, it's like, what? No, because all they're hearing all day is how great they are, how wonderful. So it's
crazy to me because like on the flip side of that, men rarely get compliments. So rarely that if they get one, they are just like enamored. They're just like melt, like wow, and think somebody's just amazing because they never get a compliment. You know what I mean? So it's like we live in two different worlds.
If they get a compliment, they're like, "What do you want?
Yeah.
What's going on?"
Sure, because it's right. Like what's going? It could be that too. You know, like I just, you know, okay. So I'm on a mission to read the entire Bible this year. Okay. And so I've been getting through like the Old Testament, right? And you know, the way
Golf clap.
the way women were a long time ago versus now is completely backwards compared to where it was. Because like back in the day, there was a lot of men that had more than one wife. And there's this term called concubine. Have you heard this? Have you heard this word?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
so
very well versed in the Bible.
well, I read this several times. I read it several times, and like now that like it's easy to Google stuff, I just Google words I'm not real familiar with. So I'm Googling it, and it like the definition is like this is a woman that doesn't have the rights of a wife, but sometimes will bear children, provide sex, emotional support, or friendship, or other things around the house. That but she doesn't have those same rights as a wife, and it's like this was how shit was, huh? And so when you read that and see, like I'm reading it, and I've been reading so much of it, and so much of it is similar to that, like I'm starting to think to myself like how different things are, and it's like it seems to me most of the women were happy that way, and I think that men can never be happy that way, but women can be happy that way when you have, and it says like as long as a man can provide, like food, shelter, support.
We're going like way off.
The reason I'm saying this, the reason I'm saying all this is because all those men back then ultimately were like hailed as like you're the man, and we're going to follow suit, and we hope that you're badass and have options and all these things. But because we've modernized everything so much, women try to act like they don't need a man, they don't need this, they don't need that, and so when a man has options, it scares them off. It's so fucking backwards. It's the most backwards. Like, get your shit together, get better. You know what I mean? But you're gonna be scared of a guy that has options. So on one hand, we're told we want the 1% man, taller than 6 feet, makes 6 figures, six pack, the whole deal, But then over here, we're also said, oh, but we need a dad bod because you're gonna have too many options if you're the 1%. Well, you know what? Us men, we can't fucking win. So when you hear this shit, and it's like saying that, does she want the guy with the muscles or the dad body? Women don't know what they want typically. So you know what I mean? And you are like one of the only people I know that have been able to make a marriage work. And so like, I think at the end of the day, like you have the secret in there. So for, when you hear this guy, I don't know who this guy is. He's sitting on the toilet over here. What is going on? Who's telling this story?
All right, let's move on to the next video.
If you think like this, tell me, be honest. How is your dating life right now? How is your dating life not being jacked? Are you single and lonely? Or maybe you're getting some girls, but are they really the tier of woman that you want? And don't give me that bullshit that, yeah, but like Jonah Hill and Bill Belichick have some hot girls, and they're kind of out of shape. Yeah, bro, but Jonah Hill and Bill Belichick are multi-millionaire celebrities. And Jonah Hill's last girl, she was batshit crazy, man. So once you get to be a multi-millionaire celebrity, you also get to play by a different set of rules.
Okay, so I like to talk about this one because, like, I had this conversation with my husband the other day. We talk about, like, okay, women going for the 1%. Like, you hear that all day long, right?
All day.
But women have categories. They'll have the whole, like, okay, provisioning, security, they have all these little things. And then the looks is somewhere down there, like on 4 or 5.
Sure.
Okay? So
yeah, sure.
It doesn't mean that she doesn't want a guy who's physically fit or attractive. You best believe she wants a man who's physically fit and attractive. But because many women can't have it all, they put, what's the most priority. But that's also why they'll marry the fat, overweight rich guy, but then cheat on the pool boy, because, and that's why you see the monkey branch, and like they tend to like go wherever they're going to get it all, right? That's why you see that kind of stuff happen. That's why I say for a man, I think that should be like priority. Get your health together,
Yeah.
Get that side done. Like that's going to set you, I think it's a gateway to all things success. Yes or no?
Yeah, I agree. But nowadays, you can line up 100 girls and like
Mhm.
you want to be, the what they say, the king's mistress or the peasant's wife. Which one? And they're all going to say king's mistress. So really, a guy should just make money because nowadays that's really what is being pushed into culture, and that's what women are kind of geared towards.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose, and I'm sorry, they're gonna lose in the end. Like I've seen it time and time again. You can't go after money. That's not. You can. I've seen somebody who puts values and want, like for instance, what we're talking about right now. Their health, long term, ahead, and with the right woman and the right time and consistency and patience, you can become a millionaire. I've done it.
Sure,
Anybody can do it.
sure.
I just think that once you've established discipline and you have done that over time, you can basically accomplish anything else. So I don't think that the health should ever be second or third or fourth. It should be the first.
I mean, I agree, but what you just said there, over time, and nowadays nobody wants to do anything over time.
True.
People are like right now. You know what I mean?
But that's why they lose in the end, though.
And you're right. It's just it's funny because like I don't know, how do we shift gears? It's like it's almost like people too. They'll see me in shape right now, and say, oh, it's easy for you. I mean, I've been prepping my meals weekly for about 15 fucking years. I don't know how easy that is, but
Well, and like I started when I was 10.
Yeah.
Like you started when you were a kid. Like we all started young.
Mhm.
And like they see us now and they think that that's just how it is. But
Mhm.
they don't realize that we've been at this, like I rode my bike, 5 miles up and 5 miles back
Mhm.
and saved up for my first car and then like bought my first house at 18 and then like sold that, took that money, did it again. That's how like I built my wealth. But all along, even though doing all that, I still kept my health. I was always in the gym.
Sure.
So now, like you, the other day, I was talking about it. They talked so much about how he's on gear. No one wants to talk about the fact that you were 10 years natural.
Yeah.
Like you didn't start doing stuff. Like you had to build that discipline and that base up naturally.
Yeah, people, there was something somebody commented on one of my videos not too long ago, and I was making a comment about leptin, how leptin kind of controls how much body the fat releases for energy and whatnot. And there was a guy that had a program based on it a long time ago named Joel Marion, and it was called Cheat to Lose. And one of the things he would talk about is using a cheat meal to actually burn more fat, at the end of the week. So he'd kind of deplete, and then he'd have the cheat meal, metabolism ramps up, and the whole thing. So anyway, right away, people start tagging other people and trying to talk shit and trying to discredit everything that I'm doing, because that's what people do, right? And there was somebody in the comments that said, you could easily Google search this as quickly as you could tag somebody else to talk shit. And so what it taught me right then and there is nobody really cares about being better. They just don't want you to be good. They just want to fuck you up. Like no one, like when I say no one, I mean like the 99%, like people that are going to, talk shit about how the fucking quarterback in the Super Bowl should have did all this other stuff and they've never played it down in their life. You know what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day, like that is.
That's why I said if you're going to point fingers at somebody, you're going to blame them. All you're basically doing is like, you're basically saying, I'm going to give my control away. Because once you do that, that's what you do. You just give your control away. You have no control over your life when you start pointing and blaming. Yeah,
and people that point and blame are just fucking losers. I don't care what anyone says. Like when you do that, you just won't.
Let's listen to this next one.
You won't take accountability.
Yeah, this one's good.
Oh, so they all seem to be saying at the moment that they like dad bods, and the pictures that they're showing are like this. This is not a dad bod. This is what a dad bod looks like. Okay, women? I always wondered why on those videos where women get interviewed, asked what their type is, so many of them would say dad bod because they don't know what one is. Also, the disrespect to call this kind of physique a dad bod. It takes years of hard work to look like that. So my conclusion is that women like guys with muscles, but most of them don't care if you're shredded and have abs.
So what do you think about that?
So I think he's right. I don't think that's a dad bod. I think he's muscular. He looks like he's strong, and he looks healthy. He might not look like he's ready for his photo shoots, but the other guy, that they were showing, obviously was dad bod. Like dysmorphic gut hanging way out. Skinny arms, everything. But like, I think he's right. Like there needs to be some kind of There needs to be some kind of like. People see so much stuff on the internet that they just think that like this is has to be this or nothing.
No, people are extremely superficial. Like all they see is exterior. They have no clue about. I talk about this in the fitness industry, right? Like how long I've been in the fitness industry. If they don't see you ripped and cut and like 10% body fat, they automatically think you're not fit. And
Oh
like,
yeah,
no.
I mean,
Like as a woman, you cannot be 10% year round. That's
No.
just like it's not
No.
even realistic.
yeah.
So even I step on stage, the next day I gain 7 pounds of water within 24 hours. So it's like it's just not realistic. Like we have to understand that body is actually fit, just has fluid. He's not ripped. He's not.
I mean, if he's sitting right now, like you gotta understand something. One of two things too. He's not ready for this photo. Somebody took this photo. So maybe if he sucked in and hit his abs, you might see all 6 of them.
Lighting, exactly.
You might see all 6 of them there. I mean, he pulls it in and then boom, then you'd be like, oh, he don't look bad. But in this moment, he's just casually walking around. Maybe he's on the exhale, he's breathing, like who knows what's going on here. But like, people just love to try to cast everybody in a bad light. I remember when this happened to Schwarzenegger. Somebody took a picture of Schwarzenegger at the beach one time as an older dude, and they just were talking all this shit because he didn't look like he did when he was winning the Olympia in his fucking 20s. Like,
I remember.
Like, what world do we live in where that is okay to do that? You know what I'm saying? And then, because it's somebody like Schwarzenegger, it's been on top forever, people just kind of think it's okay to pick at him. And like, it's not, but it doesn't matter. People that have that attitude or whatever, they're losers and they're losing. So there's no winning for them anyway. So I guess that's all they got.
How do you think staying in shape impacts attraction in a relationship when you're dating? How do you think it impacts it?
I just think it's initial. I think it's initial. I think that women, I don't think it's as big a deal as I thought when I was a teenager. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna get ripped and have muscles, and chicks are gonna throw themselves at me. It's gonna be great, And me being, poor most of the time, and I think I learned quickly that the guys with all the money, the girls wanted to hang out with. So you know what I mean? So I think it's an initial thing. And I think that at the end of the day, you got to make some money because women want 3 things. They want security. It's physical security, emotional security, financial security. Those 3 things, and I think
they have their priorities.
I think muscle says, I'm going to give you physical security. And I think women find that to be attractive. And so the women that typically find it to be more attractive than others are typically women that are like damaged and went through some trauma when they were younger. And maybe this guy can protect me and save me or something,
You think?
I think because
Maybe in your experience.
that's all I can go from. That's all I can go from here, Yeah, and like I'm not saying they're all that way, but I'm just saying it just seems like heavily like, because it's like that, or the other thing is a few really small girls like a really big guy. So tall girls like a big guy, and some really small girls like a big guy. It makes them feel like, I don't know, they're walking with a tiger or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna start getting off into like the 666s. So what do you think before we go into that?
Yeah.
What do you think you can do to encourage? Let's say you meet a girl, and have you ever had a girl encourage you, or you had to encourage a girl into fitness because she wasn't? Like, how did you encourage her to be more fit?
You mean like we're in a relationship and then like I'm trying to make her get to the gym?
Yeah, like let's say you started dating a girl and fitness wasn't her thing. How did you encourage her? were you able to encourage her?
You know what? Okay, so I dated a girl one time. I was like 19. I just won the teen championship in bodybuilding, and I was dating this girl who was like 21. She's a cute blonde girl, and I just made it like a date. I'm like, hey, we should go to the gym sometime. It'll be fun, And then she took to it, and I didn't really do anything after that. I would suggest that if anybody out there is trying to get their, spouse to do things, I don't really have the answer. I think you could answer those questions better than me, but I think that when you're all about a thing, like Joe is a military guy, and he's got his guns and his guys and the whole thing, and so you're doing that shit all the time. You know what I mean? And so I think it's the same thing. So if a guy's all into the gym and whatnot, that's kind of his thing, then a woman's going to kind of do those things, do that with him. But for the people that have married a long time and maybe, the wife is just given up and she's, 100 pounds heavier than she used to be, and maybe they're older and stuff, I don't have any advice. I don't.
So this is what I think that, we were talking about how people see things online and they tend to go off what they see and they compare themselves to. This happens a lot, right? You'll see people, they'll look at videos, and right now on Instagram reels, you'll see all these cute little couples working out together, cooking together, doing things together, and they say at the end of the video, a couple that works out together stays together, that kind of quote. And I laugh because I'm like, no, what they're teaching women and young boys and young girls is that if you don't find your identical twin, then that means you're not in a good relationship. And I try to tell them that that's not correct. Just because you are with somebody and they're not identical, they're not exactly like you, or they don't like exactly everything that you like, that doesn't make them bad for you. That just means that they have their own interests, they have their own passions, and that's a good thing. What actually drew you together is that where you were weak, he was strong, and vice versa, right? So you don't marry, you don't get with your identical twin. You get with somebody who has some things that are going to be different than you. I tell you this all the time, you're never going to have a girl come to you and want to be with you because you're exactly like her.
Yeah.
And that's why the people who are exactly alike, they butt heads.
Mm.
You're going to find somebody who is going to be attracted to you because you're going to have things that they're missing or they don't have. And that's why they're attracted to you. And that actually is a good thing, because if you can learn to work together, where one is weak, the other is strong, and where other is strong, the other is weak. And that's why if you can work on that, and you can find out where you build from that, you can really become strong. When I met my husband, he hated the gym. He's just not a gym guy. You're like you said, he likes to do outdoor stuff. I'm not really a big outdoor stuff. I'm a girly girl, So he does his stuff outside, and I have my things, and that's okay. And then we come together on the things that we do like to do. And I think that that's what makes a relationship really good. You don't want to be identical.
I think it's really good that you said that, and I think it's actually a phenomenal stance. I think it's very traditional, and I think that we don't have that anymore. I think that you're talking to a void. There's nobody in there that's going to hear that, because I think you're right, and I think you nailed it, and I think it should be like that. But I think that people are told nowadays, if this person's not perfect, this person doesn't have all the things, it's not going to be good enough, it's not going to work out. And then it's people got their friends, girls got that friend that's you deserve more, you deserve better, he doesn't even do this with you or that, he always wants to go do this whatever with his friends, and you deserve more, look at you, you're so pretty. And it's that toxic bitch is in her ear, and every girl has one, almost.
And then she has all these people, hitting her up, constantly on her social media, her DMs, I'll take you here, or I'll do this, or I can do this better, or I'll spoil you. And then she reads into that, and she thinks that that's for real, which, is not for real. To why, but it's not. It's just a lot of fishing. People online, it's low hanging fruit. If they think that you're low hanging fruit, they're gonna.
Or if they just think in this moment they can connect with you because they have something you're gonna want, some shiny thing, they're gonna dangle it. you know? And because social media is so easy to reach people, I mean, just about anybody you can reach on social media nowadays, you know, they might not respond, but you can get to them, you know? And that is a different dynamic. And so for women, the illusion of options has become a real cumbersome obstacle for most men. Most. I would say almost all. Because, like, at the end of the day, there's women that, like, for instance, let's say a guy meets a girl, she's cute, he likes her. What are you doing this weekend? You know, and she was like, I'm not sure yet, because she's got 500 DMs, and so she's waiting to see what the best thing is, you know. And he's like, well, hey, would you like to come to the game with me or something, or the racetrack, you know? And she's like, yeah, I mean, I could. Like, what's that all about, you know? And then, you know, the guy's like, okay, well, I got VIP. I'm going to take you over here. It's going to be really great. I know the people there. I got this whole thing laid out. It's going to be a lot of fun, you know? You know? And then next thing you know, she's like, I don't know. I've never heard of this before, you know? And then some dude with a yacht is like, hey, we're all going out on the yacht tomorrow. Why don't you grab you and a couple of your girlfriends and we go out, you know? And she's like, oh, I know that's fun. That's going to mean, you know, cocaine, alcohol, dudes, money, whatever. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's fun. So then she tells the guy that might have had something really going for her that was like trying to put it all together. Oh, I can't. You know, I forgot my friend. I have to go do this thing with my friend. So then the dude lost out, you know? So that's one scenario. And the flip side to that is there's a lot of women that might have some dude saying, come with me to Greece, come with me to Italy, come with me to Fiji, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And like, that is never going to happen. But because she's getting those messages, now whatever this guy was trying to do, take her down to the local, you know, nice restaurant and have a nice time and a nice talk and a dinner and a connection, that doesn't seem like enough now. And so we're in this spot now where like women have like, honestly, like in this situation played themselves, because now they're going to miss opportunities with somebody that's right here and could be something great and then turn into a real relationship, which is what you were just talking about. You were just talking about a real relationship where you're like, yeah, we're not perfect. We're not the same. You know, he likes to do these things. I like to do these things. And we just make it work because when I needed him, he's there for me. You know, and he's me, I'm there for him. And like, that is like a traditional thing, which makes you so great. And that is something that is just not taught anymore, you know?
Yeah, I don't even think that it's traditional. Like, I don't think that, you know, what I have, I think I'm a modern woman. I just think that I don't make decisions based off feeling. Like, I never have. I've always like gone off of what is right for the family, for the unit, you know? So, and that just goes for like everything. That even goes for the gym. Like, that's just how I've always moved, you know? I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it because I know it's better for the future. There's one more video. Let's listen to this one.
Okay.
Physical attraction, you will see respect start to dwindle. You will see admiration start to dwindle. You will see affection start to dwindle. The quality of the relationship suffers when there is no attraction.
So I think that's important because I don't think people really talk about how important attraction is in the relationship. And if you don't keep that consistent long term, like, I don't even care how old you get, you still need to keep an element of attraction. And that's why I always say, like, even as a wife, you know, keep your appearance, keep your looks. When he's coming home, take 15 minutes to take a little time to put yourself together. You know, these little things do make a huge difference in how the relationship.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Like, attraction is a thing always. But the most attractive thing is when you really care about somebody. You know? Like, if you really care about somebody, then like they're really attracted to you, you know? And if you really care about that person, you think that they have like a really great heart, or they're very kind, or you think that they're just.
You can only see those things with time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's why, like, a man will open up emotionally to a woman over time. He has to trust her. He has to know, he has to have some sort of ownership with her, you know, which he has to know that she's loyal, all those things. Up until that point, you know, he's going to keep a certain amount, like a little barrier up, you know. And I think, like, even when he does emotionally open up, there's always a certain element that he has to be careful, because if he's properly leading in the relationship, you know, he has to, you know, I just think that that's just how, or what I have experienced in men.
No, you'd be right. You'd be right. Like a man, we're never. It's never safe for a man to really show his vulnerability to the woman he's with, because she'll see it as weakness, and then she will lose attraction. And
Like,
so,
you hear a lot of, you know, I see, oh my goodness, like, even when I was looking through these clips, you know, I was going through just droves and droves of, like, reels and YouTube on relationships. There's so much content out there. I feel bad for people, like, that don't really understand how to navigate, because there's just too much information out there. And then there's so much bad, right? So, like, I got all these videos about, like, be vulnerable, be this. Like, that's not going to help you with today's women. That's not,
no.
I don't agree in the beginning. Like, there's definitely, you know, in your own relationships, like, in the beginning, there's a certain element that's not going to do that's not going to do man justice in the beginning.
No, right. Men aren't that. Men have to be the rock. You know, we're in this new girl boss phase of the world where women are supposed to be so badass. But when shit hits the fan, they want a man. And they want a hard ass motherfucker that has a plan, you know, that has a safety net, you know, that has something figured out. And when a man doesn't have a plan, or doesn't have nowhere to go, doesn't have something figured out, and he's feeling all kinds of shitty, better off just keep your mouth shut. Because however a woman looks at you, as soon as you break that character of being able to handle the lead and do whatever it requires, and do it with a sense of, like, confidence and assurance, as soon as you can't do that anymore, she's gonna look at you differently. And, you know, I don't know how long it would take for a woman to just be like, he's having a moment, versus I can never see him differently. I can never see him the same now, you know? And, you know, it's just what we are. Like, you know, right now, like, society is trying to tell girls they can do what guys can do, and that guys should act like girls. And women act like they want a man that's a girl. Like, women will say, oh, I want this man to communicate and talk and nurture me and be there for me and romance me and pay for everything. They want, like, this thing that's not real. They want, like, a girl. They basically want a girl. All right, but guess what? Most women fucking hate each other. Okay, so
because they're reading into the marketing. So women are brainwashed into the marketing. Like, even romance is not even. It's a folklore. Romance. The word romance is folklore. It was created for literature by men to sell to women. So if you look at everything today, holidays, Valentine's Day, giving flowers. Like, everything,
birthdays
is marketing. It's marketing. It's to sell. So that's why women say these things, because they literally are caught up in marketing and what we're being told is the right way. But then when they practice it, when they're with a man, they realize, wait a second, something's not right here. And they can't really detect. They can't connect the dots. They don't understand. They're not willing to pick up a few books and do some reading, you know, get aware of the situation. I got aware of the situation, and that's what made me go, whoa, you know, like, my man is a man. Like,
he's a man.
Like,
he's a man.
I got even more attracted to him once I started becoming very aware of what's going on. I just think women don't take that time.
Well, because think about that. I don't think women are taught it, first of all, how to treat a man, how to fucking treat a man, you know, understand whatever man you're with, he's going to be critical. His emotions aren't going to move around like yours. He is going to tune in with you for the important shit. You're going to come unload all this information about your friends, your life, your world, the shows you watch, the cars you want to drive, the makeup, you're going to unload all this shit on this dude that doesn't give two shits about it, but he cares about you. So he's going to try to sift through there and pick out the stuff that he thinks he can like help with, which is when we start trying to fix shit. Like, oh, something wrong with the car? I got this. Don't worry, babe. Just leave it with me tomorrow. I'll take it down. I'll take care of it. No problem. You know, you didn't even hear everything I said. All you heard is a stupid car. And it's like, I'm a man. Like, I am a man. You want to talk about all that stuff? Maybe do it with one of your girlfriends. And then when you're done talking about all that, you know what I mean? And you want to come over here, maybe give me half of it. Just give me half of it. You know what I mean? And I think that women don't realize that, like, we're just built different. Like us men, like all I'm thinking about all day, all the time is like how to pursue my career. For the longest time, it was my physique, but it just so happens I got this motherfucker on lock. Now I got this fucking covered. Like it's a walk in the park. You know what I mean? I like training hard. I like to eat like I eat. I like to do what I do. But I cannot stop thinking about my career because that's what men do. So, and it doesn't matter. Like some men will go from like shift gears from like career is everything till they get in a good spot. And then it's like they have this hobby because now maybe they're in a good spot with their career. Maybe things have changed. So now they have a hobby. Now they're thinking about this hobby every day. You know, it's like, oh man, I'm going to, you know, like I'm going to go, you know, hunt for shark teeth. So I'm going to get this new scuba gear. I'm going to get this wetsuit. I'm going to get this snorkel. I'm going to get, you know, and so it's like, this is what we do all the time. We're not thinking about what fucking Tiffany said down the street. You know what I mean? To her mom, you know, about the new color carpet they got. Like we don't, you know, and it's okay that women want to talk about those things, but it's also okay that a man doesn't, you know? And I think that's where we get where women have a hard time. It's like, it's okay if your man doesn't want to talk about that shit, you know?
If women understand male and female dynamics, if they just took even a day to just read up on female-male dynamics, it would make life so much easier. So half of the stuff that we're seeing, that's why I just had a live right before this, and we're talking about the difference between controlling a woman versus leading a woman, right? Like what constitutes between the two. But you know, as much as a man can be a great leader, but if she isn't gonna do her part as the woman, and you know, even come to him to ask, to become aware, or even take the time to become aware of male-female dynamics, then you know he could be doing all this work and it's going to go nowhere. Like it has to be both sides have to do it.
You know what you should do? You should write an ebook and make it.
I have a few.
Because like women listen to other women more than they listen to men when we say like.
I do have a few women. I think women are kind of like silent observers. So like there is a lot of women that listen, but they don't speak up because they just like want to watch from. And I don't blame them because like for me, I'm confrontation. I'm good with it. But even me, I get like all this backlash. I think for the first 2 years, I got a lot of backlash, and now it's all kind of calming down. But at first, yeah, they'll come at you kind of hard. So I understand.
I mean, I know they be coming at you hard for a long time. You know, they come at me hard too. But you know what? Like, bring that shit on. I'm fucking built tough.
I thought I had it bad, and then I saw that the YouTube video. Man, they did not like they. When we go out, it's funny, right? When we'll go to like wherever we go, and guys, you think like they come out in droves. They want to take pictures with you. It's so funny to watch it.
So in person,
I have to ask myself, like, who do you attract more, men or women? Sometimes I think you attract more men.
I definitely attract a lot of dudes, you know, and they're not.
I don't understand it.
And they're not even in a gay way, you know.
I know it's not. It's like they want to learn from you.
Well,
they want to learn, which is a good thing.
Well, men we are just tribal creatures. And so it's like when you see something maybe you haven't seen before that looks powerful, you're like, let me go in a little closer. And so then you get a little closer and you see that like that power's wearing a smile. You're like, hey man, maybe we can be cool. Hey, I was just noticing you over there. And then now like that person feels like there's an alliance of power. This is how men work. That is why I attract so many dudes to come say hi and whatnot, because we're all this way. I'm this way. We're all this way.
Men and women. See, men see something that is of excellence or extraordinary, and they'll walk up and they'll go, hey, I want to know what you did.
Mhm.
Women, they'll see something that maybe they want but is unattainable, and instead of just go, hey, like, what did you do? They'll hate on you. They'll look at the one flaw you have.
They'll look for it.
They'll be like, psh, and then they disregard and move on. It's so.
What's funny is like gay guys do that too. Had this gay guy come up to me in the gym not too long ago, and he came over to me. He's like, "Hey, just want to let you know. I mean, if you hate me, whatever." I'm like, "Just spit it out, bro." Like, fuck. I'm like taking my headphones out. I'm like, I can already tell what's going on here. He was like, you definitely need some new shoes because it looks like your arches are beat down, and that's probably not. And he's just going on about my shoes, and I'm like, thanks, man.
Glenn left a comment. He says, thanks for tuning in, Glenn. I appreciate you being here. Deep down, men respect hard work ethics. So when they see a guy who spent the time and chiseled his physique to look a certain way, they admire that and respect that. Very true.
He's 100%. Like I said, I'm the same way. We're all this way. We're this way. I mean, it just kind of comes down to like, it really comes down to like this tribal feel. Because as men, we're always trying to make it. We're always trying to be a force, present that force, and move through the world, this way. Like that's what we do, and like if I was an asshole, you know what I mean, then people wouldn't be coming up like that. If I was constantly like just being an asshole, then the dudes would hate me, you know what I mean? So regardless of all the hard work and everything that I put into myself, you know what I mean, they'd be like, oh no, he's a piece of shit, fuck that guy, but like I said, it's like it's a thing. It's like men want to be powerful, and that comes through two ways typically, like being physical or financial, and those are the two ways that we are powerful enough to influence the world around us. Women want to be powerful too, but the best way a woman can be powerful is by being attractive and persuasive. So it's like
it comes down with virtuous, like empathy, virtue, purity. I think that women have a different sort of power, right?
Well, no, it's very different. But what I'm getting is this: like, you're not going to get to those qualities if you're ugly. So you know what I'm saying? So if you're an ugly girl, those qualities will never be seen. Like you'll never get an opportunity to show them. But if you're beautiful, you got, a rocking body, you got a big rack, a nice butt, you got your hair done, your lips, everything's looking good, walking around, like other girls are scared of you and hate you, you know what I mean? And dudes are like, that is power. That's a woman's power right there. And that's what I'm talking about. That is the attractiveness and persuasiveness of a woman. And so it's like her power is not like I'm physical and I can hurt you. That is a man. I'm physical and I can move mountains, whether he's rich or he's muscular.
I have seen women who, I don't think that people underestimate the power of being physically fit. Like I have seen women who get into the gym, keep their bodies up, and don't wear a lot of makeup, right? Wear the hair natural, and they might be seen as like the girl next door, right? Maybe if they're out. But then I could take that same girl and I could do her hair, do her makeup, put her in a certain outfit, and she would be like, bam, Like I know you've seen those kind of girls. Like they'll walk in, they would completely, you wouldn't even notice her. She would walk by you, and then she'll come off for a photo. She'd be like, what? Right?
Well, yeah.
So I think there's, I just think that be physically fit, take care of yourself, be healthy. And then, you know, be kind, be empathetic. You know, all those things are important. I think that's.
I think that being kind and empathetic is what we want from a woman, us men.
You're gonna draw a woman can draw attention to a message or to something important, but ultimately it's gonna be a man who moves another man into action.
Okay, well, I will say I have to touch on this though. So it's like when I say, you know, being tall, very muscular, physically fit, and rich, you have absolute power in this world. The last thing you need is fame, and you'll have all those things if you have the first four. Like that's it, right? Okay, so now you this person, okay, right? Well, what's the female counterpart? I will say this. You can take an average girl, and I see this over and over again. So a man has to work for those things, right? A man has to work for all those things. He has to work on his body. He's got to work on his business. He's got to work on his character. Being tall, that's God-given. I got you, okay? But the rest he's working on, right? A woman can just decide, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to get big 800cc cans. And then guess what? Now her DMs are blowing up. Now she thinks she's the hottest thing here. Now her confidence is so big because guys can't help themselves. We can't. So now she's powerful. So now this woman became powerful because of that one thing. And I see it over and over. Girls can buy boobs as big as watermelons, and dudes be like, you know, and she thinks she's the hottest thing ever. So this girl will go from having zero power to now walking around like she can do whatever she wants because she knows she can control a powerful man. Persuasion.
I don't see that as being powerful, though. I don't think attention and validation it does bring a certain amount of attention to you, but you have to have something more. You can't just exist. So you
I agree, but there's a lot of dudes that don't need you to do anything other than just be hot, and then or they're gonna buy you whatever car you want, whatever truck, whatever house. They got the money. There's a dude out there.
They're not gonna appreciate it long term. You're not gonna be around.
Well, they definitely aren't gonna appreciate the situation. But what I'm just getting at is that, and so if you were to say like, what's the ultimate woman? I would say all the things that you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I would say all the things you're saying. But like, if you just take things at face value, like where does power come from? Like what? Like women nowadays, like they all think they're 10s. Why do they think they're 10s? Because they know if they're a 10, then they have this allure over men.
No, they're constantly having men in their calling them, men in their DMs. They're bombarded by people. Just think about it. Like if you were a dude, okay, and you had, which you already know this, you have constantly girls in your DM. Wherever you go, you're invited to go on trips. Look, you get it all the time. I mean, how most men, if they're constantly told they're great, they're wonderful, they're going on trips, they're never going to really improve or want to become better. And that's kind of where we are, in our world. Like with women, they're not really seeing things in a realistic light. So they're not working on things beyond the superficial.
They're definitely not in reality. They're definitely not living in reality. When you hear the whole like woman, the man or the bear, that's the woman. What are you going to pick, the man or the bear? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but I think
that's not reality.
Do you actually do that? I think that was. I don't think women really would do that. I think that's just all like.
No, I don't think they would do it either. But it's just like that's where like women just can't.
Like people can talk a big game on social media.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what we talk about. It's like, okay, so on social media, you got all these little fucking slap dick beta bitches talking shit about me being on gear and whatever. And they're like, they're just hammering the keys, just going to town, nothing but syringes everywhere in the comments. I can't wait to see them, But what do I hear when I walk around in public?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And when you meet these people in person, they're friendly, they invite you in, they're cool. Half of the people who go off online, like I've even had people go off online with me, and then I see them in real life, and they're absolutely cool. So I never judge anybody off social media. You just can't.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. I seen a video one time of these two dogs that were barking at each other, and there was a fence between them, and these dogs are just barking like crazy, right? They're barking, they're running up and down the fence and stuff, and then the owner hit the button, and the fence opened, and the dogs just like stopped barking, just. And then the fence, they close the fence and they start barking again. And I'm like, that's social media. That's social media right there. It's like once you went, if they were face to face, they're face to face with you, with me. Like they're not going to do those things, but you get to hide behind a computer and create a facade, do the whole thing. And unfortunately, there's a study that shows that like there was this study where they had 5 people in a room. 4 of them were actors. One person didn't know the other 4 were actors, and they asked them like a series of questions, like which one of these objects matches the other object. And the 4 actors said something completely wrong. And the one guy that was an actor looked at them like they were crazy at first and was like, and then he started becoming unsure of his decision, knowing that that's a ball, not a square. And they were all picking square, kind of thing, But then over time, when they kept doing it, eventually, when they would pick one, the guy that wasn't an actor would just go along with it. And so what we have in social media is you have all these people commenting. And I think some people, like, their job is to just create this out there so that it can move trends. You know what I mean? Like a marketing situation.
Yeah, there actually is. Yes. They're not in the United States, but they're sitting around a bunch of phones creating.
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell people, like, if you see me in real life, come on over, talk to me. I've had so many people send me DMs and be like, oh, you were here. I'm like, yeah, how come you didn't come over? They're like, well, we were scared to come over. I'm like, no, come over, say hi. Like, people are it's easier to be behind a screen. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, it's like when I was a kid, like I was like 10 years old, and we'd be like playing like, tackle football or whatever, and then somebody would get hurt and run off down the street and then cuss and flip us off, because they're halfway down the street. They knew we couldn't catch them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the internet. So we have the internet now. You got any more comments over there?
Glenn's sending a lot over here.
What's going on, Glenn?
He says, I love my Test C and my Tren E stack.
Oh man.
You could have all those things, but if you like charisma and the ability to influence, your power is limited. Very true. Yes, that's in the ultimately that's why I say start with the body, start physically in the gym, because we tend to, what we want to see externally has to start internally. So like if you go ahead and start in the gym, that sets your discipline, it sets all that self-control. Like most people in this world, they don't have any self-control. They're not even control their own minds. They're chasing neurotransmitters, like anything that's like dopamine, anything that's giving them endorphins, that's what they're like chasing. And if you can have self-control and you can sit back and you can say, wait a second, this is not going to help me long term, you're like above the rest already.
Yeah.
Right? And so start off with the fitness, get in the gym, and then that will be a gateway to everything after that. For me, that's how it started. And then I used that, and I just got all these little passive side incomes. Like I started with the real estate. And from there, that's what funds me. Like, that's what allows me to do all this creative stuff. People think, like, I'm making money from social media. And I'm like, no, that's not where my money comes from. Like, my money comes from doing, like, real work, stuff outside of that. And then I get a chance to do all this creative stuff and help people. So I think that's important because people tend to look at content creators and they're like, oh, they're making all this money from, creating videos. And I'm like, no, like, it's not how it is.
Yeah, people, I don't know what they think, but I know that you're better off being really good at something than bringing that to social media,
That's what you're doing in real life. And then you just use social media kind of shows.
And like I was listening to Alex Hormozi. I listen to him a lot. He's got a lot of really good insight. He's a really hardworking guy, very smart. And, he was saying you would be better off not posting anything, working for years till you're really good at something and build a value within yourself, then start posting. And then now you're actually adding value to the world because you are a value. And it's like, yeah, try telling the young guys that. I'm like, fortunately for me, like, I'm in this cool phase of my life right now where I'm starting to, I feel like, have influence with some of the younger guys. And I enjoy it because I had a great mentor when I was younger, a guy named Gus. He was great. But then as I moved, I was always kind of looking for somebody, to learn from as I went from there. And I think that, just like you said, you can't judge somebody on social media. Social media is not real. But if you see a guy that's 43 years old, he's 310 pounds, and he's over there deadlifting the house and screaming and shit and flexing on himself in the fucking mirror, that kid's going like, what is your deal? Like, what are you doing? What are you training for? What do you, And I'm like, life. This is what I do. Like, do you compete? Well, I used to. Oh, yeah, you look like you compete. Well, I'm like, well, yeah, I used to. And I just stay in shape. But I enjoy this. I still prep my meals. I still do everything the same, And I think that I'm able to like reach some future young men in a way that really makes me happy, because what you were talking about, people having no self-control, I talk about discipline is a superpower. That's what's on my wrist here. Discipline is my superpower, and if you go to my, website, superstyle.biz, that's the first thing you see. It says discipline is a superpower, because, no matter what you want in life, you have to focus on it to get it. And it's never easy if it's great. If you want a great thing, it won't be easy. It doesn't matter if it's a job, your physique, money, a relationship. Like, if you want something great, like, it takes discipline,
Well, and I'm headed out to Vegas I'm going to be on stage talking about this very topic. I think it's important because you see all these people, like, they talk about motivation, right? You hear that a lot. Like, what motivates you to do this? And I'm like, no, like, motivation has nothing to do with it at all. It's discipline. But beyond that, like, you have to be kind of obsessed with what you're doing, right? Because motivation is a general desire. So if you're just generally desired about something, right, then basically I'll be motivated to have tacos today and motivated to be having pizza tomorrow, right? You have to become obsessed, because obsessed is having something constantly on one's thoughts, minds, and actions every single day. And if you're not obsessed with what you're doing, then you're going to lose desire, So find what you are obsessed about. Have that vision, get obsessed with it. Then comes the discipline, right? Because that will drive everything you think of, right? You probably wake up and you're not putting that shake. I see you do that shake all the time. You're not putting that shake in your mouth because it tastes good. Like, you're doing it because you know that that's what you need to get to the gym and to get your results. So, because why? Your results are what you're obsessed about, and that's what's on your mind and your thoughts constantly. So you're eating for the goal long term, and you're going to the gym for that goal, and everything stems from that. And then from then on, anything that's outside of that vision or that goal, you put it outside of your circle. It's not for you.
Everything you said, I agree with. I think in my own mind, I frame it as, and I say this to people, what's your reason why? Because your reason why will make you think about what you're putting in your mouth, what time you get up in the morning, what you're doing with your time. Because your reason why, it's like, everyone has a different reason. It could be their kids. It could be like, I just want to give my kid the best life possible. Okay, well, now that's it. Maybe it's like, I don't feel like I'm in shape and I couldn't play ball with my kid, so I want to be good enough shape to play ball with my kid. Well, now you got to go work for that, And so like, everyone has a different reason why. Me personally, I feel like God has given me more than most, and I feel like he did the same thing with my dad, and I feel like my dad wasted a lot of his talents, and so I just made a deal with God that I would do everything I could with what God gave me. And so every day I wake up and try to use all of my gifts and my abilities as well as I can, because the only thing I fear is being an old guy looking back going, I should have went for it. You know what? I'm going to die anyway. I should have went for it. I had the golden ticket and I didn't go for it. So I fucking go for it every day. So that's what I do. And so when people, are like, well, why do you do this? Why do you do that? I'm like, how do you not? How do you not realize that God created you the way they did, the way he did, all of your gifts, and you're just gonna throw them in the closet and just tell yourself it's just as easy. You got to see my garage. I got all these like pictures up. I do vision boards, you know, and I got some old ones that are really cool. I got to show you at some point. I want to show you and Joe, but it's just as easy to think I want to do this great thing as it is to think I can never do anything. You're just making shit up in your head. So to me, just make up the good shit. Because when you start making up the good shit, you start focusing on the good shit, then you start building habits about thinking about the good shit. And like life is that simple. It is that simple. You know, tall guys will tell me all the time, it's harder when you're tall, and they want me to chime in. I'm as big as I want to be. Like, make no mistake, if I wanted to be 350 fucking pounds, I could do it. But I don't want that. I wanted that. I thought I wanted that when I was younger. But as I got up to 320 and I started feeling like, man, I'm starting to feel tired all the time. And like, I don't have a real direct reason for this. I backed off. And so like when people try to make, my hamstrings wouldn't grow. I couldn't get my hamstrings to grow. People say, oh, well, you're just glute dominant. You're glute dominant. They're greedy. You know? I spent a year figuring out my hamstrings and they grew so much in 1 year. Now I'm proud of them. It took 1 year to get them caught up with everything else, you know? And so it's like, so when people, so my thing now is business. I think to myself, like, you know, I'm fortunate enough where I have friends of mine that take me on vacations and fly me on jets and take me to concerts and do all kinds of cool shit. And like, let's go, man. It's all of us together, you know? And I can't wait for the day that I'm like, come with me. My jet, my party bus, you know, my hotel rooms, my concert, my situation, because why not? Why not? You know, like if you never entertain the idea of doing these things, then I promise you it's not possible. But as soon as you start entertaining the idea that you can do these things, that is when the magic happens. And it's like,
I say that we technically, like Americans, they only live, they said on average 73 years. That's how, like, only 73. So then when you deduct 21 for working? No, 30. It was 31 for working, 21 for sleeping, 6 years for social media, 6 years for running errands. You start deducting all the like the average things that you do. You're only left with 6 intentional years of living. That's it. So can you imagine people who are sitting around going, "Oh, I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to do it because I'm going to fail," or "Oh, why bother? Why bother?" Like that means that they're like doubling their social media time. They're doubling their sitting around doing nothing time. They're not even living 6 years of intentional life. Like you're literally dead, walking around alive but dead. And I'm not going to live like that. I'm going to do everything, even if I make mistakes, even if I fall off. You know, I'm still going to do it.
You know, it's crazy. I am the type of person. I'm like a why not guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of why guys out there. Why do you want to do this? Why would you do that? Why would you go over here? Why? I'm over here like, why not? Why not me? Why not that trip? Why not that role? Why not that movie? Why not that girl? Why not? Why not? And I promise you, if you could change that one thing about your life and just say, why not? Everything would change. Because I couldn't.
What you're doing is you're mastering rejection. By saying why not, you're mastering rejection. Because what you're saying is, I don't care if I get rejected. I don't care if she tells me no. I don't care if they tell me no. I'm going to do it anyways. And I think that's the one reason why what makes or breaks somebody is their fear of rejection in life. Look, everything I've done, I've told you all of my failures. I've told you all my pitfalls, all the things that's happened to me. If I sat around going, oh, you know, I'm not even going to try, you know, now I'm sitting around going, what would have happened if I had tried? Like, I didn't get a chance to try. Then I'm sitting around pointing and blaming, and I'm the Monday night, you're like, look at these people on social media. Oh, they're the ones who haven't gone out and done things themselves. Because if they'd done things themselves, they wouldn't be online putting you down or criticizing. They know how hard it would have been to do what we're doing. You know, it's not easy.
You know, it's funny, Gia, like the girls in my life, man, like if they don't know me very well and they're just kind of like you have a way of just, I don't know, just making them angry, and like they just become like so like you have a way of getting a reaction out of women that's pretty crazy to me, in my opinion. Like if, because you know we filmed our, you know, workout together and some different things, and some of these girls, you know, be acting some kind of way and saying some kind of thing, and I'm thinking to myself like, that's right, fucking G is fucking powerful, suck it, motherfucker. You know, because at the end of the day, and so yeah, regardless of what's going on, you just keep doing it. You keep doing it, and like that's why you're here, because you keep doing it. You know.
That's why like I have massive respect for people who get crazy amounts of hate online. Whenever I see somebody getting crazy amounts, I'm like, man, they're doing something right.
Yeah, man, and you know, even if you do something wrong, like we're all human.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's
Fail.
if you look
Just
at
online, they hold it, and then they keep it, and they keep bringing it up and bringing it up. It could be 10, 15 years later, and they're on that one.
yeah, you know, and I always tell you, just gotta embrace it.
Yeah, use it. That's why I said face it. Use it as your alibi. That failure is the reason why you're able to like offer a different insight that nobody else can.
Yeah.
So it's actually your friend.
Yeah, you know, it's funny how like everything I do, I just try to start doing it right away, because procrastination is rooted in fear. And we all have fears. We all have them. But if you get in the groove of feeling a fear come on, but knowing if you just don't look at it and just jump anyway, then you can get right past it. And that's kind of how I deal with procrastination, because I'll think to myself, like I have this, you know me, I always have a long list of shit I'm doing. And I got like this long list of shit I'm doing. And I'm thinking like, but how am I going to do that? And I'm like, that's the wrong fucking question right now. Like the way you're saying it to yourself, Aaron, I don't like that. You're just going to do it. Like, you're just going to do it. We're not going to worry about fucking how, because if I start worrying about how, it starts feeling like overwhelming, you know, and we're not going to think about that.
I started recently every Sunday going to work out with this physique pro, and she's a physique pro. I mean, like,
she's jacked.
Too much muscle.
She's jacked.
My husband's like, you better watch it. I don't want you coming home with all that muscle.
Right.
But she will stack on the weight, right? And I'll be like, the first thing I want to say is like, I want to go, I can't. But then I stay quiet and I say to myself, inside my head, I'm like, just do one. Do one. If you can do one, you can do two. I don't say anything. But every time I go to work out with her, I'm like a little bit scared. And so I tell people, like, if whatever you're doing doesn't scare you just that little bit, then it's not taking you out of your comfort zone. Like, you're just not doing it right. Good for you.
Good for you. Fucking A, man. That's living. That's what life is about, you know?
I have hit PRs every single time. Remember I told you I did 320 on the squat?
Dude, like crazy.
You know what's the one? Is it the landmine? I was able to stack like 3 plates on either side, and I was very shocked. I was shocked. So that's how I said, from that point forward, I said, I'm underestimating my strength. I'm way underestimating. And I think we all do it. Everybody does it. They always go for what's comfortable and what's easy, and we're not really able to see what we're really capable of.
Dude, totally. Like today, for instance, I failed on a 700-pound deadlift, and but I'm like, yeah, it's a good place to fail. You know what I mean?
That's insane. I don't even know how to do those lifts. God bless you.
You know,
me and my husband see those videos and we're like, geez, God bless you.
You know what's funny though is my deadlift was my first lift I ever did when I was a kid. I was 12, deadlifted 300 pounds, first day in the gym. And then I came away from it later because people said I should only sumo deadlift. And when I was sumo deadlifting, my ass got really big. And I didn't like that because I thought my back was going to grow more, but my ass grew more than anything. And so I have
the same problem.
Well, and it's a leverage thing with tall and being, you know, and so, but I stopped deadlifting altogether. So then I stopped. And so then my deadlift wasn't very good. And so then I came back to it and I thought, well, let me just try a traditional stance. Well, now I'm stronger than I've ever been with a traditional stance, and now my ass doesn't grow from it. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's like all these videos. If you go on YouTube, like all these videos will be about how to gain your ass. I'm looking for videos how to make my ass smaller. Because at this point, my ass is overtaking my leg.
That was the same to me. That's funny. Same thing. On stage, the judges big.
Genetic, genetics.
Turn, you know.
Well,
That's
we're gonna. I guess we'll start to wrap it up because we've been here a while. But
Okay.
I think this is cool. This is good. We have to definitely do this. What, like Mondays?
yeah. I think Mondays are
Will work
good.
for you?
Mondays are good.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's
So
definitely.
guys,
important.
if you don't, let's hear the comments. Let's hear what you want to hear, and we'll keep this going. I really appreciate everybody watching. Love you all, and I appreciate the support here.
Yeah.
Make sure you go follow my brother. Go follow his Twitter page here, and of course he has his YouTube. And if you have fitness questions, he's got an amazing book, The Supernatural Lifestyle. That is a really, really good book. You go tell him about the other things that you have going on right now. You got a lot.
Oh man, I got so much going on. Okay, I'm the author of The Supernatural Lifestyle, and it's a book I wrote on nutrition to give you your food choices, how to group them together, and when to eat them. And then I supercharged all of that with the ability to manipulate your insulin spikes. And so by doing that, I have figured out a way to be eating all the time towards my goals, which will change your body composition versus a depletion diet where you crash and hit a wall and have to stop. Like the Supernatural Lifestyle is a way of life. And it's a great book for anyone to read because when you read it, you start feeling really smart and have all these aha moments like, duh, I knew that. Like I knew that. And just the way that I write it, it's very helpful. So I have that. And, I had created a whole brand of supplements off of that. And I've been doing all kind of stuff in the film industry and everything for the last 6 years with that. But I'm at a rebrand right now. So I just rebranded the Supernatural Lifestyle to Super Style. Okay. So this is my new brand. And it stands for the same things, but it needed a makeover a little bit because it wasn't as cool with some of the things I want to do. I want to create a community. And so, being a Super League Pro, being a super villain and the author of The Supernatural Lifestyle, super is kind of my thing. So like I do everything super style. So that's where we're at. And I talk about how discipline is a superpower and it's my superpower and the reason I've been able to do so much. And I want to help you make it yours. And so everything that I'm doing, I just focus on pursuing my career and, moving forward with, I want to make motivating movies. So I have a lot of productions going on behind the scenes that people don't see on social media because they only see me in the pool or at the gym and stuff. That doesn't mean I don't have other things going on. I just can't fucking talk about it right now. But when I can, it's going to be really cool. Believe that. And you just got to stay tuned in. So Gia, thanks for having me on the show. I think we should definitely do this more often because I love your insight. So
thank you. I love you. Have a good night.
All right.
Thank you guys. See you all
Thanks.
soon.
I love you too, Gia. I'll see you later. You guys be good.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, that was cool.
Let me see. We have. Hold on. Let me turn this one off.